The Honor Earbuds 2 Lite caught me by surprise. They come in at £70, and in this review I'll be explaining why I'm actually pretty impressed with them. Now if you're interested in purchasing them, links in the description below will take you to your relevant stores. And before getting into this detailed review, if you haven't already, do subscribe and hit that bell notification, it would be greatly appreciated. So jumping straight into it, let's talk about the Bluetooth codec, and here the earphones support the SBC and AAC codecs only. It would have been nice to see the aptX codec like you see on the Creative Outlier Air, but nevertheless that's not the case. Now on the plus side, the earphones did not suffer from any sort of video lag or lip sync issues, specifically with the YouTube app running AAC codecs on an Android smartphone, a combination that sometimes leads to a little bit of delays with certain earbuds. Now with that in mind, let's get on to my subjective opinion on the overall frequency range. First off, let's talk about the bass, and here the earphones do extend to a certain degree in the sub-bass tones, although they will sound cut off in comparison to more premium earphones out there on the market. So let's for example take the Oppo Enco X, which are really good in this domain. The Honor earphones just can't compete. Still, at this price point however, they're very punchy, specifically in the mid-bass tones. They will keep you, well, very excited when you're listening to, let's say, your favorite R&B tracks, or let's say you're putting some EDM music. Now, of course, bass is one element of the sound frequency range, but what about the mids? Now here is where it really caught me by surprise. For an earphone of its price, I normally expect quite a recessed and pushed back sound signature, and one that's quite V-shaped, specifically in the mid-range department. As a result, it means that vocals don't come out as the kind of the prominent sort of sound. But this wasn't the case with these Honor earphones. Yes, they are slightly pushed back and slightly recessed, but nowhere near in comparison to any of the earbuds which come in at the sub £100 or $100 price tag. Ones that I can remember from top of my head come from One More, even from Creative, even the cheaper Oppo Free 2 for example. These earphones just sound a lot more pushed back in the mid-range department, whereas the Honor earphones just come a lot more to the foreground. So if you do like listening to music with more vocal tracks into them, then the Honor earphones will definitely prove to be a worthwhile investment. And likewise, when it comes to the highs, they were similarly impressive, where they extended pretty well and just kept me, well, excited when I was listening to my music. Now as for the soundstage, the earphones do a pretty good job at portraying a pretty intimate sound, although some audiophiles will prefer a more wider and deeper soundstage, which is not what these earphones portray, such as the likes of the Creative Outlier Air, the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless, or even the Cambridge Audio Melomania Touch. These earphones just do a little bit better at not only providing a wider type of sound reproduction, but also one that has a bettered instrument separation. Nevertheless, the Honor earphones are still impressive in this domain, and given their price point, definitely did leave me impressed. Now sound quality aside, what about the other features that these earphones have? Well, first off, let's talk about ANC performance, and here I was actually left pretty disappointed. Now while ANC is a nice addition and something that some manufacturers can talk about, I really don't feel that Honor can really shout about their ANC performance, because frankly it's almost non-existent. I was tapping between ANC on and off, and really the differences are so minimal when compared to the likes of the Oppo Enco Free 2, or let's say the Oppo Enco X or the Libertone Track Air Plus. These earphones just do a far superior job at actually blocking out external sounds. I would even go as far as saying as the One More piston buds, which provide better passive noise isolation, do a better job of blocking exterior sound. So ultimately all I'm trying to say over here is that the Honor earphones ANC performance is pretty poor, and while this can be improved over future firmware updates, at the time making this review it's certainly not a feature that I would be investing in for these earphones. Now while ANC performance is pretty shoddy, I must say the overall recording quality of the earphones is not too bad. In comparison to earphones within its price tag, I think the Honor earphones definitely do stand their ground. Specifically when it comes to pretty noisy environments, what you'll find is the earphones still hone into your voice as long as you're talking. Even if you do go quiet, it doesn't look like they completely amplify the external environment, which isn't the same that could be said, for example, about the Creative Outlier Air. And as for comparison, here are the Creative Outlier Air V1, so you can potentially hear the differences in terms of recording quality between the two earphones. As we're doing comparisons, here are the Oppo Enco Free 2, which come in at roughly the same price tag as the Honor earphones. and again will give you an indication of how the earbuds compare in terms of their recording quality. Moving swiftly on, we get on to the build quality and design. Here the earphones have a pretty lightweight and nice looking case, and by the way they're available in both black and white finishes. Now the case itself has a USB Type-C port which allows fast charging, so you can get quite a bit of playback time with just 10 minutes of input charge, and they also will get to around 32 hours of playback time, with the earphones themselves lasting for a whopping 10 hours, which is pretty impressive for their size. Now speaking about the size of the earphones, I do feel that the stem is slightly long. Not quite one more ComfoBuds long, but they are still pretty long stems in comparison to the likes of the Oppo alternative. Now the only thing to note over here, other than the look as to how it is in ear, is the fact that when you are taking them in and out of their charging case, it is a little bit of an extra struggle. I know it's very much first world problems, but it's just something I thought I should point out, and something I did note when I was using the earphones as my daily drivers. Now despite their slightly longer stem in comparison to the Oppo alternatives, I had no issues whatsoever while doing physical activities. So for example, when I was wearing them while taking them on a cycle ride, I didn't experience a large amount of wind noise, of course with ANC disabled in order not to get that extra wind noise being reflected in your ears. And here as a result meant that, well, I can perfectly see and use them for, well, more strenuous activities. Although one should note that all true wireless earbuds that don't have an over-the-ear design won't really be perfect for very active wear, as in if you're going to be going hardcore in terms of your gym workouts. And as a result, you might want to look into alternatives and check in the description below for some of my suggestions. Now if you want to interact with the earphones, Honor has integrated touch sensitive buttons. Now I do feel they're a little bit hit and miss at times, at which point sometimes you'll be frantically tapping on your ear, but when they do work there's no input delay, if that makes sense. Nevertheless, there is no physical button and you can customize the controls through the app. Speaking of which, via the AI Life app you can customize these gestures, and you can have a double tap function per different earbud, as you can see over here, and you can also have a touch and hold function on the left and right earbuds, although this is synchronized between the two buds. And here in terms of the noise control modes, you can cycle between the 3 modes, so yes, you do have an awareness mode as well, or you can have that disabled and cycle between, let's say, off for noise cancelling, or let's say another combination of your choosing. Now moving on from there, you do have a quick toggle between the noise control, in other words the noise cancellation on or off, and you've also got the ability to check for firmware updates. And in 3D settings you can also enable or disable smart wear detection, which can be quite handy if you're going to be talking to individuals on the street and you just want to quickly pop off your earphones and pause your music. And so with all of that in mind, what do I make about the Honor earphones, and would I fundamentally recommend them? Well, quite frankly, I was left jaw-dropped with its overall sound quality. The recording quality isn't too bad either, the app provides extra functions, and in terms of the overall design and aesthetics, well, there are no sort of inherent issues. I would say its biggest flaws in terms of a daily use is the input touch sensitive buttons on the earbuds, and also the somewhat shambolic ANC performance, which is almost non-existent. But if you look at ANC and put that aside, suddenly you've got some really great sounding earbuds for the price. Now as a result, these get my value award because I just think they're great value purchase for people who want a good overall sound quality. If you're looking for fantastic ANC performance, however, you should definitely look elsewhere, and the suggestions will be down in the description below. Now if you found this video helpful, definitely do drop a like, and of course subscribe, as it would be greatly appreciated, and do let me know in the comments below which earphones you would choose at this price point. Alright, I've been Totally Dubbed, take care of yourselves, and goodbye.